welcome to the 2021 Metropolitan Family Services DuPage Gala. Please welcome Pat Whiteside and Nikki Cameron.
Good evening. I'm Pat Whiteside, Board Chair of Metropolitan Family Services DuPage. Thank you for joining us for the 20th Annual DuPage Gala.
Hello, I'm Nikki Cameron, Executive Director for Metropolitan Family Services DuPage. We are so pleased that you're with us for the special virtual event, which celebrates the work that Metropolitan Family Services DuPage does in empowering more than 24,000 families and individuals throughout DuPage County each year.
Metropolitan DuPage brings a wealth of programs that work to strengthen families throughout our communities and keep them strong. They include providing a firm foundation for our county's youngest children through our early learning programs, which we will be featuring tonight, showing their impact on the families we serve, as well as the close partnerships we have with so many organizations that make success possible. Metropolitan's partnership with children's families is a central part of children's success. To illustrate this partnership, we will present a special panel discussion moderated by local legend of journalism, ABC7 News, anchor and DuPage resident Ellen Kraszewski, with a group of early learning parents who are also peer leaders.
These actively involved parents and peer leaders will discuss successes, challenges, and opportunities for early education in DuPage. They will also share personal stories about how they and their families benefit from the programs and family support that Metropolitan DuPage consistently provides. In addition, you will hear how the greater DuPage community benefits as well. But before we begin, we must recognize the great group of people who have made this year's event possible, starting with our gala committee led by co-chairs Dan McGowan and Emily Shoup. Thanks to all of you.
In addition, we have many wonderful sponsors to thank, those whose generosity has enabled us to bring this program to you. Their names will be featured on the screen throughout our event. Thanks again to all for their support.
It's said that it takes a village, and it really does when it comes to creating a bright future for all the children in DuPage. Many wonderful partners work together as a team to bring the best and high quality, comprehensive early learning services to families needing support. Several are with us this evening.
Now let's hear from some of our amazing community members and parents about the awesome partnership each has with Metropolitan DuPage.
How would early learning in DuPage County be different if MFS DuPage County was not, MFS DuPage was not here? This would be a significant loss to our families of great need who depend on this process, who have children who necessarily aren't given the same benefit of being able to start with a strong pre-readiness and prerequisite skills that a student needs to have for kindergarten. What MFS DuPage has done through the Head Start program is provided those families who do not have the access like that, access. They've given those students, they put them on the same way, on the same pedestal as the rest of the students, and give them a chance to not start behind and to start on even footing. It's been a tremendous benefit for those kids, and if MFS DuPage was to go away, it would significantly have a negative impact on our families with significant needs. And so I would never want to see something like that ever happen. I've seen the program, like I told you in this interview, with my own eyes. Students who have gone from 3 years old all the way through 5th grade at Johnson School, which is 8 years. And I've seen those students do tremendous things academically. Most, if not all, those students have left who have attended the Head Start program and spent the 6 years at Johnson, so a total of 8 years at Johnson School. I can almost say 90% of those students were either on grade level or above when they left our school. And that's because they had a strong foundation prior to starting at Johnson School through MFS DuPage Head Start program. Thank you.
One of our biggest areas of focus is how do kids come to us ready for kindergarten? And we would not have made nearly the progress that we've made in this area without the partnership of Metropolitan Family Services. Together, they've helped us staff several critical programs within our schools. They've provided extensive family engagement to support the effort of kindergarten readiness. And without their partnership, we would not have reached a number of the families that we really, really needed to reach and have targeted with our early intervention services.
So early learning in DuPage County will be very different without the support of Metropolitan Family Services of DuPage. The structures and the programs that are currently available for our earliest learners would be very limited or even non-existent without the leadership of Metropolitan Family Services of DuPage. The federal Head Start program provides many of the financial program resources, but MFS's leadership goes far beyond just the Head Start programs. School districts would lack cohesive efforts to implement effective programs that serve our earliest learners. The resources and knowledge available through the large MFS network benefits all school districts and communities throughout metropolitan Chicago.
Truly, I have to say, it's a relationship we as a district have with Metropolitan. So the bottom line is Metropolitan has been truly a gift to the Addison community. The impact that Metropolitan has had with our families using the early Head Start program, also the Prevention Initiative program, along with their involvement with the Addison Early Childhood Collaborative has truly been impressive and remarkable. So Metropolitan has contributed so much to the Addison families in our district, from running programs in all of our buildings to providing professional development opportunities and also providing resources to our families. So our relationship is true, collaborative, professional, but we do have a lot of fun still, and beneficial to our families. Our earliest learners, their families, and the Addison School District as a whole appreciates all that Metropolitan offers to all of our families.
Our most valued part of our relationship, or our partnership with Metropolitan Family Services, is that they have a child-first philosophy. So all of the actions and decisions that they make are based on what is best for the children in our community. With that, we've partnered with them along with many other organizations, and it has provided the opportunity for us as a local community to identify the visions for early childhood. It has also led to system-wide change. So we all use a common language, and we are all band together in a network support for students. So we're linking referrals and supporting one another as organizations. And I believe that started with Metropolitan Family Services, having that vision and creating that structure for our community. Without Metropolitan Family Services, I believe that our most vulnerable students in District 200 would not be served. Before Metropolitan Family Services, there was a gap in services. We did not have the funding sources. So those families couldn't pay tuition to get high quality educational program services and support for their children. And they also weren't able to afford or qualify for funding assistance. So therefore, those students were coming to school with a lack of experience. And it was greatly shown in the data that we were providing at the kindergarten level. Now, with the high quality programs that Metropolitan Family Services provides, as well as their high quality staff, our students are coming to school ready to learn, happy to learn, and they're very successful in kindergarten. And we know that they will continue that success as they move forward. I really applaud Metropolitan Family Services for all that they have done and the difference that they are making in our community.
Hello, this is Tom Schneider, the superintendent at Burr Ridge School District 180, the home of N.M. Jeans Elementary School, where you'll find our Head Start program that's administered by the Metropolitan Family Services crew. And I just wanted to say I hope you're having a great gala, and wanted to thank you for inviting me to talk to you about how much I love our Head Start program and how much it means to our community. Without this Head Start program, our early childhood families would not be able to experience the joys of early learning, and we all know how important that is. And without MFS helping us along the way, it'll just be an uphill battle for us. And so we're grateful for all of the help and from Darby and Nicole, and we just can't say thank you enough for helping us out and helping to serve our families here at N.M. Jeans Elementary School and Willowbrook Corners. Have a great gala, and thank you again for all of your support.
I think about what early childhood education, early learning in DuPage would be without Metropolitan DuPage, and I can't really picture it, to be honest. I feel like there's just such a depth of knowledge and resources that pulls everything together, that connects the dots for all the different providers that are out there. You know, you've got those small in-home daycares all the way up to really large early learning centers. And you really need an organization that connects them all together and helps them find the resources that they need, especially during the challenging times that we're living in right now. you really need those connections. Even though we might mostly be meeting over Zoom and not face-to-face, I still see such a tremendous value in Metropolitan DuPage.
Early learning in DuPage County would be so different. I don't live in DuPage County, and I wish I had something like this when my kids were younger, because the connections that are made and the opportunities that are there, what, like you said, for the small home daycares, there's, home visits that are going on. There are, the large early learning centers. There's even places like the DuPage Children's Museum, that bringing programming, and they're doing virtual, and just getting that information out to the families that need it most is huge. And I really, really think that Metropolitan DuPage does a great job of connecting everybody together and making sure that the ultimate people that benefit are those families and their children that need it. So I think it's fabulous what they do.
Hey everyone, Dr. Eric Jackson here. Thank you so much for giving me just a few moments to say thank you and to show my appreciation to the Metropolitan Family Services, especially Metropolitan Family Services DuPage. I've worked with MFS for quite some time now on various projects in the community. My dental practice is in Downers Grove, right down the way from Wheaton. MFS has been such a great partner to me, between everyone there, alongside Wheaton Warrenville Early Childhood Collaborative as well. We do a lot of great things. My favorite, the impact on the community is always felt annually. The last several years, we've been able to work together and provide dental treatment to pediatric dental patients with our Little Youth Dental Health Day. It's just such a great example of why organizations like MFS are so imperative for the community, for the country, and for the world in general. It just really, really speaks to helping others, philanthropy, servant activism. Very, very nice. I love working with Maureen. Everyone else there. It would take far too long to list all the wonderful people over there, but I would like to say thank you. I wish you all the best at your virtual gala this year, and I look forward to another wonderful Little Youth Dental Health Day later this calendar year. So thanks so much for letting me speak. I wish you all the best and have a great event. Take care now. Bye-bye.
I would just like to say thank you so much for your support. The difference that we can make for families in Addison is critical, especially for parents with young children who are looking to navigate a patchwork of services, but are really vital services. We know that 85% of brain development happens with children in the first 5 years of their lives. And we know that the social and emotional skills that kids develop during those first 5 years become part of the foundation for the complex skills that they'll develop later in school and in life. So it is just crucial that we're here to support and lift up the families and children in Addison who are seeking support during these critical first years. And again, we know that parents are the first and best teachers for their children and the best advocates for their children in life. So we want to do everything that we can together to set families and children up for great lives. Thank you.
Metropolitan Family Services provides a wide variety of programs and services designed to strengthen families and help them realize their full potential. This has been true for us. My son has been part of the Early Head Start program for the 2020-2021 school year. As with many families, we were isolated and struggling during the COVID-19 pandemic. This program was a huge support to my son's development and to our family. This program focuses on the entire home, teaching parents as well as the kids. And personally, I have learned and grown so much through the privilege of being part of such a wonderful program. I feel very strongly that this program should be available to all families who want the support, regardless of their social or economic status. Every family would benefit from the education provided by this amazing program. Thank you, Metropolitan Family Services, for all you do.
I'm Megan Lynch, manager of the DuPage Medical Group Charitable Fund. DuPage Medical Group is actively involved in philanthropy and community service as a way of giving back to the communities in which we live and work. The DMG Charitable Fund, a donor-advised fund of DuPage Foundation, has been a longtime supporter of family shelter service, and we're honored to continue that partnership by supporting the 20th Annual Gala of Metropolitan Family Services DuPage. We believe that by coming together, Metropolitan Family Services and Family Shelter Service are able to provide stronger and more comprehensive services to help families impacted by domestic violence rebuild their lives. That's why DuPage Medical Group Charitable Fund is proud to provide a matching grant this evening. I challenge you to give as generously as possible. For every dollar you donate, we'll double it, up to the first $10,000. Thank you for supporting families in our community.
It's great to hear from our partners. Thanks to all of them for their support. For many of you here tonight, this may be your first time meeting me, so I'd like to take a moment to tell you a bit about myself. I've been serving as the Executive Director for Metropolitan Family Services DuPage since last May, and I've been with the agency since 2012. I was born and raised in DuPage, and DuPage is where I still call home. I say this to emphasize I have a deep commitment for our community and its families. I am honored to lead a great team of people who truly share in the commitment to empower the more than 24,000 families and individuals Metropolitan DuPage reaches annually with your incredibly valuable support. This year, the DuPage Gala is highlighting our early learning services. I am a huge supporter of early childhood education and the value of its impact. In fact, I devoted my professional career to early learning. Before being named the executive director, I led Metropolitan's early learning programs here in DuPage and throughout the entire agency since 2018. Before that, I led DuPage's early learning programs since 2012. During this time, through the collective work of our staff, and I must stress the many great community partners, Metropolitan's early learning programs doubled in number. Today, our early learning team consists of more than 100 staff who provide services to more than 700 children and their families. I couldn't be happier to do what I do every day and to enjoy your company here tonight, because I truly know and believe that when we establish a strong educational framework from the very beginning for every child, we equip them with the foundation that they need in order to be successful in school and in life. I personally know the wealth of individuals it takes in a community to provide high quality, comprehensive early learning services. We in DuPage are especially fortunate to have a family of providers and parents who actively engage every step of the way. Together, we strive to work in the best interests of children, families, and the broader DuPage community. You'll hear from some of them tonight. And I must acknowledge how essential our funders are, who support early learning services here at Metropolitan DuPage and throughout the county, so that all children have an opportunity to flourish and grow up and realize their full potential, to be the future leaders in our communities, in our county, and throughout the world. Speaking of leaders, we've come to that place in our program where we honor an outstanding community leader with the Robert K. Johnson Award. To present the award, I introduce to you the DuPage Gala co-chairs, Dan McGowan and Emily Shoup.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dan McGowan and Emily Shoup.
Hello, everyone. Each year, the DuPage Gala honors a civic leader who has helped empower families through their service and action. The award is named for Roger K. Johnson, a former executive director of Metropolitan DuPage, whose leadership and advocacy for all DuPage County families continues to inspire our services today. To emphasize the significance of the award's namesake, I'd like to share a bit about Roger. He was the fourth executive director of Metropolitan Family Services DuPage, which was formerly known as Family Services of DuPage. Before assuming that role, Roger was a dedicated social worker whose care for and commitment to at-risk families earned him the respect of all in the human services arena in DuPage County and beyond. And under Roger's guidance, what was then known as Family Services of DuPage joined with what is today Metropolitan Family Services. The recipient of the Roger K. Johnson Leadership Award helps Metropolitan DuPage carry out its mission to provide and mobilize the services needed to strengthen families and communities. The honoree understands the importance of strong families. They also know that families are the foundation of society, shape the identity of its members, and teach important life lessons such as responsibility, respect, and concern for others in our community. The honoree also serves as a role model to others and advocates on behalf of families and Metropolitan DuPage. Both families and Metropolitan directly benefit from their values, vision, interests, philanthropy, and volunteer service. Since the award was established in 2009, Metropolitan DuPage has had the privilege of honoring 17 individuals, with Dan Schuchart being the first honoree in 2009, and Marianne and Paul Travers jointly receiving the most recent award last year.
In continuing this great tradition of leadership that is committed to strengthening families and communities here in DuPage, we are honored to recognize Mike Skarr as the 2021 recipient of the Roger K. Johnson Award. In 2014, Mike began working with Metropolitan Family Services after meeting Roger Johnson and Teresa Nihel, former executive director of Metropolitan DuPage and current COO of Metropolitan Family Services, in his capacity as board president of the Naperville United Way. In his 2 terms on the DuPage board, Mike served in various capacities, including serving as the DuPage co-chair for the agency-wide campaign to empower families, which raised more than $30 million. As a DuPage community board member, Mike used his decades of management experience and community connections to help the agency align its operations, raise awareness, and solicit corporate and individual contributions. Mike's service to Metropolitan DuPage was the culmination of a career intertwined with community service, focused on supporting quality education for children, facilitating entrepreneurship and business growth, and leading major economic development initiatives to create jobs and opportunities. In 2020, Mike retired from the DuPage Community Board and joined other dedicated leaders on Metropolitan DuPage's Alumni Board. The Alumni Board provides the agency with the opportunity to stay connected and continue to seek the perspective of former leaders and mentors. Congratulations to Mike Skarr, recipient of the 2021 Roger K. Johnson Leadership Award.
Thank you for this special recognition. It is an honor to join the distinguished list of previous award winners who really modeled the way as fully engaged supporters and volunteers. Thanks to all of you for your service. And thanks to all of our generous sponsors who are making this evening's event possible. We are blessed with great community and business support. In particular, I would like to thank the folks at Wintrust Bank. As a member of the board of directors of the Wintrust Wheaton Bank and Trust, we are encouraged to provide true community banking. Being engaged in local communities we serve is the Wintrust philosophy. And I just want to thank Wintrust for their support. 2020 was a year of significant challenges that just added to the demand for Metropolitan Family Services and under the most difficult of circumstances. The family stress created by the pandemic had the potential to harm and destroy the essential building block of successful communities, which are successful families. The staff and volunteers of Metropolitan Family Services responded to this overwhelming challenge with creative, energetic, and caring service delivery options. It certainly was not business as usual, but that is what makes Metropolitan Family Services so unique. Metropolitan has the breadth, the size, the expertise, and the energy to meet the biggest of challenges, and they did. And they did it with smiles and compassion. We owe a gigantic thank you to all of the great staff and volunteers who removed obstacles and focused on solutions with compassion and care for the clients and families we were proud to serve. It was not always easy or simple, but the Metropolitan Family Service culture of empowering families came to life. Thank you again for that world-class leadership. It is now time to recognize and say thanks for all of the staff and volunteer dedication and support. Our May 7th DuPage Gala is our major fundraiser for the year. Please take some time to participate in the May 7th virtual gala and the silent auction. Those dollars raised will be spent wisely, productively, and efficiently in empowering families in the DuPage County region. Our needs will continue to grow as we all adjust to hopefully a less stressful environment. But it won't just happen unless you and I step up and make it happen. We can really make a difference in other people's lives. We are up to the challenge. Thank you in advance for your generosity. You are all special.
And now, we'd like to introduce Darby Poole.
Early learning services are a top priority at Metropolitan Family Services DuPage, and we have a passion for helping ensure that all children are ready and eager to learn when they start kindergarten. Investing in early learning is critical for many reasons. According to findings from Bright and Early DuPage, a supporter of early learning services provided by Metropolitan Family Services DuPage and many of our early learning partners, research has shown that 85% of brain development occurs by age 5. High-quality early childhood care and education have a major impact on the future of our children who participate. Positive outcomes include lower school dropout rates, lower rates of teen parenthood and participation in special education, lower rates of violent crime, higher rates of high school graduation, and higher levels of employment and income as adults. About 3,000 children are born below the poverty level each year in DuPage County. All children are born equally ready to learn, but all do not always have access to comparable learning opportunities. Children who grow up in economically challenged neighborhoods are often at high risk for failure in school before they even get started. Many such children enter kindergarten as much as 2 years behind. These insights emphasize why providing early learning is not simply a good thing to do, it's an essential service we must provide and make equally accessible. As we strive to bring the best possible services to children and their families, Metropolitan Family Services DuPage focuses on 4 cornerstones of early learning. The first cornerstone is the child. Children are the heart and inspiration for all that we do in early learning. The second cornerstone is the parent. Equipping children's first and foremost teacher is essential to a children's educational success. We work to develop trust and close relationships with our client parents, helping them teach their children with the goal of them becoming the best parents that they can be. Community is the third cornerstone. Community is key. We prioritize partnerships with community partners, school districts, fellow early learning providers, and nonprofit organizations, as well as local health providers, civic service providers, business leaders, residents, and more. The engagement of everyone enables early learning services to thrive as part of a thriving community. The fourth and final cornerstone is staff. Each day, we at Metropolitan Family Services DuPage are proud to be part of a dynamic team that always puts its goal of educating our youngest children first. To show how these cornerstones work to create a sound foundation for early learning, we have gathered a panel of parent leaders from our early learning programs. They will discuss how they and their children work with Metropolitan and the greater community in preparing their children for educational and life success. Moderating the special discussion is Alan Kraszewski, veteran news anchor and reporter with ABC7 Chicago.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Alan Kraszewski. I happen to be a news anchor and news reporter here at ABC7 Chicago, as you might be able to see with all the logos I've got behind me this evening as I'm sitting here on our news set. But I'm happy to join you for this panel discussion. And we have several parents joining me now from Metropolitan DuPage's early learning programs. And all of these women are also leaders among their parenting peers. And I'd like to just take a moment to introduce them first to you here. First of all, Nicole Tellez. Nicole is a full-time, hi Nicole. Yep, Nicole is a full-time working mom. She actually has her own business. She has 5 children, including a daughter with a 3.9 GPA. She has another child that is currently in special education, and also one who has Asperger's syndrome. She is currently the president of Metropolitan DuPage's Early Learning Policy Council, and she's also has served in the past as the president of the Parent Committee and a leader in the Parent Cafe, which, as some of you may know, is the online network for Metropolitan DuPage's Early Learning Families, and she is a representative of Metropolitan's Head Start Oversight Board. So Nicole, welcome. It's great to have you here. Hannah Stage. Hannah, hi there. Good to see you. Hannah is currently a parent at the Addison Children's Center, or ACC, as people refer to it. Her older son went to ACC and then attended Head Start at the Army Trail location. Her youngest has then been at ACC since he was a baby, but he'll be turning 3 years old this summer, and he'll be transitioning to the Army Trail Head Start in the fall. Hannah, it's great to have you with us. Thanks so much for joining us. Tanya Veramontes. Hi, Tanya. How you doing? Yep, Tanya has 2 daughters. They're currently in the elementary school level. She is also a member of Metropolitan's early learning staff. She started as a program aide and then obtained her preschool child development associate degree with Metropolitan, and now is serving as a teacher assistant. Thanks, Tanya. It's great to have you here. And Jocelyn Melendez. Jocelyn, hi. Jocelyn started as the parent of 2 children. Well, she's still the parent of 2 children, but anyway, they started in Metropolitan's Early Head Start program back in 2019. But then she joined Metropolitan DuPage's staff as a program aide. That was actually during that same year, and then decided to pursue a career in preschool education. She completed her child development associate degree during this COVID pandemic that we've all been through. And she was working at the same time at 2 of Metropolitan's early learning program sites. And this year, then, she was recently promoted to be a teacher. And in fact, she is now teaching at the very school that she attended as a child, which is really cool, Jocelyn. So it's great to have you with us tonight. All right, well, that's our panel for our discussion. And it's so great to have all of you here. And it's going to be kind of just a very casual discussion that we're going to have here, because we really want to find out how Metropolitan DuPage has impacted your lives, and of course impacted the lives of your children and the lives of others. So many of you are involved in either teaching roles or staff roles or some form of roles in terms of ongoing support of what Metropolitan DuPage is all about. So I'm sure you'll be able to fill us in on all of that. And Nicole, I'm going to start with you tonight, since we introduced you first. I'd like to know, when you think about it, how are currently Metropolitan's learning services really helping your kids when it comes to their growth, their educational development, everything they're going through? What would you say?
I think overall, the programs that are giving, there's such a variety of programs that, not all of them are suitable for every single family, but there's programs that they offer that really bring in families to say, oh, you know what, I really need that for my family, whether it's nutrition, mental behavior, resources, educational purposes, learning behaviors as well. That in itself has really impacted the way I approach my children as a mother, but also helping them develop, for their current ages. So the girls I have are twins, they're 5, and I get to help the programs that are offered. I get to help implement that to my girls at that current age. And I've seen a success with their growth, with their development. So I really have to say overall, the programs that they offer is not just 1 or 2, there's several that can be for, every single one could be for one household or just a few. So I would have to just say that.
Is that your choice as a parent then, as to which programs you take advantage of that Metropolitan DuPage is currently offering? Do you get the opportunity? Do others decide that when they have a chance to evaluate what your kids need? How does that work?
Well, some of the programs are already in there. So what we do is every month we have a family meeting. So we try to get the community of all the parents that have their children at school to come together once a month. And we just kind of discuss what's going on with the school, where our short-term, long-term goals are going, what programs that we're trying to implement. And then what we like to do at the end is we like to do like a little activity. So we have had somebody from the outside come out as a nutritionist and give us great ideas for families on the go that don't have time to cook. She gave us us great recipes for breakfast, great recipes for dinner, something simple, healthy, nutritional, especially if you don't have an hour in the kitchen like most of us don't to prep a meal. We've also had a counselor come on for the mental behavioral side for parents that are going through PTSD or children that have ADHD or depression, anxiety. And she came on after the meeting and gave us some great tips, some tricks, useful resources to help parents. So it's not just we get to choose. Some are already implemented, which is great, because some of us parents don't have the courage to raise our hand and say, you know what, I need this program. But when it's put in front of you, you kind of just take advantage of it.
Hannah, have you taken advantage of these programs in a similar way?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, with my kids, it's different because, I mean, it's more like another school for them, and the different things that they have been doing with my children, I can see the difference. And it helps so much. I mean, my little guy, who has literally been there since, I think Jason was only a few months old. He has progressed so much, and he has turned into quite a character. And I really, really wholeheartedly think that these girls, the teachers at Metropolitan, have helped him be the little guy that he is. I mean, for the girls that have worked with him, I mean, you've seen the progression in him, You
kind of wonder, okay, if it was not available, if it wasn't available, what kind of a difference would that make in your life and the life of your kids, do you think?
During the process of like right now, if we were to personally ask me on different levels, I mean, I do have a different life, and a lot of the girls know what I have been going through. I've been going through a lot of traumatic situations. If it wasn't for, I do apologize if I get a little emotional. If it wasn't for these girls and what they have done, not only for me and my children, because there's been 2 that have gone to the school. I don't think I could see it going any other way with anybody else, with the help that they have shown me and I've gotten through the company. I mean, it's really hard to explain my situation.
And you don't feel like you need to get so personal if you don't wish to, okay? But I can tell from what you're telling me, I'm hearing from the first time without getting into specifics, that what's being offered here is truly foundational for oh my goodness, as a parent, getting by. Let's just use those kind of words. For getting by day to day with the stresses we've all faced, and some more than others, I know, but over this past year and maybe even more so. Some related to COVID, some may not even be related to the pandemic. But I'm hearing that from you in your honesty.
Yeah, the program helped a lot, and it still continues to help a lot. I appreciate what this program gives to other people, including myself. They got a good thing going. Sorry.
No, it's all right. All right, I'll give you a break there, Hannah. We'll come back again, though, and thank you. I just want to tell you thank you right now. You know what? Hey, I'm a parent too, and when it comes to our kids, there's nothing more important to us. I'm sure you'd all agree. You want the best for their lives. You want them to develop as well as they possibly can. You want to do your best as a parent, and there are areas, me as a dad, that I know that I could never do alone. I would never be able to accomplish it all alone, Tanya, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be talking to you guys. I'm not supposed to be giving you but Tanya, jump in here and just to share your experience and maybe, I know you have your 2 daughters in elementary school now. Tell me what you've seen in terms of the progress they've made and just your involvement. I know you're a teacher assistant as well. Go ahead.
So I had my older one. She went there for 3 years. It really did help her a lot because she was very shy, just not wanting to talk to a lot of the kids, but it did help her grow her self-esteem. Now she talks more, she has that confidence. Sometimes it's still a little, rough on the side, but she's just grown a lot. My little one, she was actually born premature at 29 weeks. So she needed those extra services, speech, just more language for her. So Head Start did help with that. We got her into speech. She still continues to receive services now. So it's just been, it was a nice experience. Working there as well has been a very nice experience because I do get to now, interact with other parents and get to know other parents. And sometimes they're going through the same thing we all are going through. And you don't know that until, you actually have parents talking to you and telling you, I'm going through the same situation. What did you do? So it's been good.
I'm listening as I listen to all of you, and Jocelyn, I'm going to bring you in too. So be ready. I'm coming your way. These are not textbook things. These are human things. You know what I'm saying? And Jocelyn, just help me out here a little bit. That wasn't a question. I know it was more of a statement. But tell me what you've experienced. We were just talking about the Head Start program, for instance, and I know that your two kids began in the Head Start program, right, at Metropolitan?
Yes, my little girl she's 3 years old now. She started when she was 7 months. And I do see a difference not only for our kids, but as parents too. For example, at Edison's Children's Center, they do a program that's called Parents Cafe. And it's for parents to come together. And even with the pandemic going on, we meet up through Zoom and we're like drinking our coffee, talking about life, just getting our thoughts out there just from and forget about always being home with this pandemic. So that's also helped me. And for my daughter, I've seen a big difference that when she first started at ACC, she right away qualified for speech therapy. But once she was there for about a month or two, speech therapy was not an option. She was talking. She also I noticed that teachers know how to teach them manners. And I love that the most because sometimes us as parents, we don't have the time to be teaching them that, 24/7. We're so stuck in work or doing other things that sometimes we don't even try to correct them. So that's one thing I've noticed in my daughter. And with my little guy that he just turned a year old, he started when he was 3 months old. I see a big difference. So since he was a baby, they started teaching him, the right way. He's talking a little, he started walking at a very early age at 8 months. And I just think that program makes them really intelligent, really smart.
And I'm hearing you say, and I think others have mentioned this too, we tend to think of it, okay, services for the children, but you're talking about, and I want to get into this a little bit more, services for the parents, that like you mentioned, Jocelyn, just having a chance to talk with people who are going through the same things that you're going through. Maybe they've dealt with, maybe they have an idea, maybe they have a way that they've managed to cope with something, or maybe they've had a suggestion, or maybe you're willing to even offer them, have you experienced that too? Ideas and just where people are assisting each other?
Yes, for example, we do have moms that are going through some stuff, like I said, with the pandemic, that they're so tired of being home, stuck home, not being able to follow their lives. So sometimes we just talk about life. Like I said, it's called Cafe Parents. So we're literally sitting there with our coffee and just talking to each other.
Yeah, definitely what Jocelyn was saying. When we started the Parent Cafe, it's as I was crying a little bit earlier when Hannah was talking too, because I definitely feel the Parent Cafe allows all the parents to get together and just air out all the problems. But the good thing about it is that we share exactly the same thing, whatever we're going through. And that's what I love about Metropolitan, because it's not just focused on the children, it's also focused on the families itself, whether you're a single mom, you're married, 1, 2, 5 kids, we have grandparents that are guardians. It focuses on the whole entire household. It is not just designed for children to just go to school, learn, it's also, oh, hey, let's also remember about the families, the parents, because they are the backbone to these kids. They're the ones that are advocating for the kids. They're supporting their kids at home. And yes, we all go through a lot. And it's great to have programs that are open like that, and just social networking, whether it's resources or just talking to support worker, or even just talking to their teachers, about what's going on with their child. And I couldn't honestly be more happy. And I agree with everybody that, spoke earlier. I definitely feel that they have tremendously impacted everyone's lives, but especially mine. Being a single mom definitely impacted it.
Does Metropolitan Family Services, I'm hearing a lot of the type of advisory roles, the communal efforts with people coming together, like a parents cafe. Are there resources available for helping out with, for instance, with employment or with financial matters or that sort of thing?
Absolutely. Everything that you can think of, jobs, finances. I know a lot of people lost their jobs to COVID. They definitely stepped up to help. We have a diaper program. They have supplied hundreds and hundreds of diapers and wipes to families with younger children. Transportation, we've had families that have lost their cars. They supply transportations, counselors, support workers, helping you with taxes, from the littlest thing to the biggest thing. They have a whole full circle of every aspect that you can think of in someone's life that they would go through.
I'm not going to call it a safety net, but I am going to call it a structure of some form that exists, that we all need that sometime. We all need the ability to turn to somebody and say, what do I do about this? I'm in a fix. I can't find the child care, or my child is having a difficult time with this particular issue, whatever it might be. Who do I turn to get answers for this? Do you find the individuals who have answers, or at least can direct you to the right people?
Pre-Metropolitan? Oh yeah, absolutely. I didn't know who to call.
Yeah.
Go to your county, go to your
right. Yeah,
community,
where do you
township.
go for all this? Yeah.
I didn't know where to go. I went on Google. But going into Metropolitan, it's just one phone call, support worker. Everybody has a support worker. You just tell them what's going on, and it's personal. It's safe. No, they're not going to share your information. They're just going to say, okay, look, we have something for you. Try this route. See if this helps your family. But the good thing is, even when they give you those referrals, they check in with you after to see if those referrals work, or if you need something else, if you need some more assistance. So they don't just stop at just say, oh, here's a list of all the food pantries in the area. They'll come to you and say, hey, were you able to get food? Do you need more? Is there something else we can provide you with? And I love that, because it just doesn't stop at one point. It keeps going until those parents are satisfied, and the support workers are satisfied.
Tanya, let me ask you, just to pick up on where Nicole left off here, the importance of that personal connection that somebody would have with Metropolitan DuPage. And another thing, Nicole, that stuck in my mind too, was how you're talking about the very personal essences of things that you're going through. I mean, my gosh, it doesn't get more personal than what your family's dealing with at any particular moment in time. But Tanya, just weigh in on the importance of knowing that you have somebody who can keep your confidence, but also be able to provide you with assistance.
That helped a lot also, because I suffer from a chronic kidney disease. So I've suffered from that for about 8 years now. And having that extra support from someone where I could call and say, you know what, I don't have the financial assistance to be able to pay like a monthly bill, or I don't feel well for my kids to go to school. Like, that social worker was always on top of either having activities for her or for both of my kids, and just still providing education while I had to be out, and even working with them. I've been working from home since December of 2020 because of my condition. So that has also been a lot of help, because I still reach out to the social worker, actually, because there's times where I still don't know where to get certain information, or I look for information and I can't find it. And being able to, had been a parent at Metropolitan and also an employee does help a lot, because you get the extra services that you need.
Wonderful. Hannah, let me come back to you and just ask you if you could weigh in on what we're talking about in terms of just the connection that you have with, maybe it's an individual, maybe it's more than one person, and how important that is to you. And just make sure your microphone's on too so we can hear you.
I have a very good, strong connection with all the girls that deal with my children. We'll go with my little guy for right now because he's the one that's currently in their school. I can come to these girls with just about anything. It didn't matter if it was financial, if I had to deal with my older child, or even the little guy that I have. I do have 3 boys altogether. This place, the Metropolitan Services, everything that they have helped me per se and provided for me or whatnot, along with the strong connections that I have with these girls, that I feel like it's not just a staff and adult bond. It's like they're my friends. They're my girlfriends, I can come to them about anything and not feel judged, and if I did need help, they were there. They're here for me, and I think that's the one thing that I got really into with this program. It wasn't that, they could help me with what I needed. They were just overall all around awesome,
I mean, I loved it, what you said. I loved when you said they're my girlfriends, and I can look at all the faces on the screen, and all of them are beaming at the fact that you said that. It's a wonderful way to put it, but it boils down to, honestly, if I can draw a distinction between people who provide you with information because they're simply an authority, okay? But now you've got people who are providing you with help and assistance or information who care about you, okay? They care about you, and it's not just because they feel like they should. They care about you because they want to, and it's genuineness. I guess maybe that's the word I'm searching for, is people who are genuinely caring for you. That's what I hear you describing anyway.
That's exactly what it is. It really is. I mean,
I as well have a really strong connection with all the teachers at ACC where my kids attend. Not the fact that I started as a parent, then I went in as a coworker, so that made me even closer with them. They got to know a little about my life, my personal life, and then now I went into a preschool as being a teacher, and they still know me, so I think that connection still stayed with them. But now they do see me as back as a parent again, and that's totally okay. But I just love how that connection stayed. Both my social workers from the infant room and my other social worker from the toddler room, they still call me about twice a week just to see how's it going at home, if I have any changes, if everything's still normal. And that makes me feel really good because that makes me know like that they're there for me, that they're caring not only about my kids, but about what's going on in my house. It definitely makes people feel loved and that you're important to them.
Yeah, that's a great word too. Going back to what Hannah was saying too, Jocelyn, let me ask you too. And I don't mean this to be an odd question because you happen to be a teacher too. But so I'm kind of wondering, were there difficulties in finding? Were there difficulties in finding a quality educational experience for your children? And if so, what did you deal with before you even got to Metropolitan's door?
You know what? To be honest, I got to know about it from a family member that they were taking, well, he's my nephew, that they were taking him there. And I never heard of Metropolitan Family Services. So I do think that it was God sending it to me because it definitely has helped me a lot. How I said it, it has changed my kids and their behavior and everything. Because to be honest, I didn't have any type of limits for my daughter before she started there. She was kind of just doing her own thing all the time. I wasn't really focused on her. And I mean, the difference I can tell that in the program, they do give her limits and she follows now.
All I can say is that with this place being here, it's a mother like myself that has able to give my children more, if that makes sense. I had to work hard and get a job. So I had to have somebody, be with my child. I'd rather have teachers, amazing women that are willing to sit there and help guide my kids learn the right way, the please and thank yous, knowing what life is in general. So I think, if people were to donate to keep, this place keep going, other people like me that were in a tough bind can come and reach out and get the help that they wanted. And
I think that was wonderful. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. Jocelyn, I'll turn to you next.
You're helping out little children that, honestly, if you're in this program, it's because your child needs help, the family needs help with in life. It's because it's people trying to help you out to be successful in life. So, why shouldn't you donate for people that need that help, that don't get it easy in life?
If you don't know about Metropolitan, take a look at what we offer, what we can do not only for children, but also for families. It is a great help, and you learn a lot of new things.
Honestly, I've heard of Metropolitan years ago with my other kids, but I never really got involved until I was approached with it a couple years ago. And I didn't realize how much they help the community. Like, I'm in Bensonville, and I did not know how much that they give back to the community. Like, they start with the community first and then spread out, right? And when I got part of Metropolitan, I said, wow, I never saw this side of my community before. I didn't know that this existed. I've heard of it, but it wasn't like a whole, oh, this is exactly what we do type of thing. But once you're in it, I said, wow, all this time, this was in my own backyard where I could have gotten help. And they don't just help with resources for families as well too, like the schools, the Head Start, early Head Start with the children, daycare as well. They do so much. And had I known before, I would have jumped into this a long time ago. But I think it really just starts in your own backyard. If you can help your own town, your community, if your town is a very close town where they take care of each other, and you have, companies or organizations like this, that's the word I'm looking for, organizations like this that help, then I would definitely donate in your own backyard. Why not? We're all neighbors. We see each other. We run into each other at stores. Why not help somebody in need? We're all going to struggle at some point in our lives, whether we lost a job, lost death in the family. We're all going to struggle at some point in our life, but why not have it in your own community where they can help build you back up to get you back on track and get you moving forward?
Wonderful. All of you, you're amazing is what you are. You really are. It's been my pleasure. I want to thank each of you who were so willing to share your stories and, quite frankly, personal aspects of your lives so that others can know the good things that are going on and how people are caring for each other. So from my heart, thank you. Thank you very much. You're an inspiration, each and every one of you, in your own way in what you're doing. Mostly, I think the simple thing somebody mentioned earlier is caring for each other and loving each other. And that's so important. So my thanks to all of you for being part of this evening, to you, Nicole, to Hannah, to Tanya, to Jocelyn. Thank you very much for being part of this panel discussion. And also for those of you who are watching this, we want to thank you too. Thank you for spending the time with us here, your willingness to listen to the great things that are going on at Metropolitan Family Services DuPage and how the work is being done to build and support families. And all of us need it. That's absolutely true. Hope you've enjoyed our discussion this evening. And thanks so much to you for being a part of this as well.
Now some questions for our parents. How would you like to see the DuPage community better support early learning programming?
If you and your children do not have access to Metropolitan's early learning programs, how would that affect your families? How different would things be?
How can the DuPage community be a partner in ensuring that parents and early learning providers are able to build on early learning successes as children move on to kindergarten and beyond?
We would love to hear from you. Please leave your comments in the chat or contact us on our website at metrofamily.org.
There's something very powerful about a child who has personally experienced the impact of a program, then grows up and returns to give back through that same program to a new generation. You'll now hear from Angelina Pearson, Site Supervisor with Metropolitan DuPage's Early Learning Program, who experience with Head Start as a child permanently shaped her life and inspires her today in her supervisory role with Metropolitan DuPage's Early Learning Programs. Let's hear Angelina Pearson tell her amazing story.
I'm Angelina Pearson, and I'm a Site Supervisor for Metropolitan Family Services DuPage. I also am a former Head Start child. I want to tell you my Head Start story. Bear with me here. I was a Head Start student, and I believe in my heart it is what truly gave me my Head Start to life and started my love for education. My mother was a single parent with me and my big brother, Christopher. My father was in and out of my life. I've always been asked, why do you remember Head Start? You were so little. I've had to become honest with myself in my adult years. I had very traumatic early years. And many of those memories are what no child should remember. But of the few good memories I do have, it's Head Start, my safe, my happy place. I remember waiting outside for the bus driver. He always used to play MC Hammer Ice Ice Baby, which is ironic because his name was Mr. Freeze. I could barely sit in my chair on the bus waiting to get to school. I loved snack time. I loved my teachers. I truly always felt safe and happy. I couldn't wait to go every single day. I got to ride the bus like my big brother, and that was such a huge deal. At the end of the day, when I returned home, it was the only time of the day in which it was just me and my mom. We had picnics under the weeping willow tree, and we talked about what I learned and what I did. Did I mention I always felt very safe and happy at Head Start? I could always depend on it, and in my little world, that was something that I just didn't have. When I was finishing Head Start preschool in May 1992, my mother was killed in a drunk driving accident, and my life rapidly changed. I was taken in by family members and given every single opportunity a child could imagine. I was given the gift of a second life, in which education was a huge part of it. It was instilled in my head very early on that education was important. I needed to do what my mother couldn't do or didn't have the opportunity to do. As I was adjusting to a whole new life, once again, education became my safe and happy place. Over the course of my life, I've always remembered Head Start. It was my family's favorite picture of me. In fact, it's actually on the wall right there. When I think of education, I always think of safetyness and happiness. I know I keep saying the word safety, happiness, but I knew I wanted to provide other children that. And being a teacher only made sense. As the years went on, I continued my education in health studies at Eastern Illinois University. I then, before I even graduated, went on to get a master's degree at DePaul University, Masters of Public Health, where I focused on child maternal health. I got to do an internship with Northwestern Memorial Hospital in their PAC clinic for low-income families. I learned about grant writing and advocating for mothers who didn't have the education and the access to healthcare. I knew after that I wanted to work with advocating for children. If you know anything about me, it's that I'm very passionate, and often that passion is very loud and relentless. Children need a voice, and I knew I had the voice to be heard. After graduation, I landed in early childhood education, and I've never looked back. Education was always important to me, and I really wanted to further my education. So after my master's, I got some more education, in which I studied early childhood education administration. I wanted to learn every single day and really began to understand truly how important the first 5 years of life are, how they can project your future and take you anywhere. You learn lifelong skills. It's your very first educational experience. Unfortunately, shortly after 30, my big brother passed away. At this point in my life, my mother, my brother, and my father all passed away in very traumatic ways. I began to question, why did this happen? Why not me? What am I going to do now? I never once said, why me? And I began the process of what I call the next right thing. I sat one day and I stared at my preschool picture and I thought, wow, wait, it's right there. That's why I'm still here. Head Start began my love for education, and it provided me the means for socio-emotional thinking. I was given the tools to succeed and how to use those tools, most importantly. I wanted to give back to a program that saved me. If not for Head Start, I wouldn't value education and connect it with safety and happiness. I wouldn't have the passion for keep moving forward in life within education. I cannot say for certain, but the difference between my brother and I'm still here. I had a safe place. He didn't have a safe place. He didn't have somewhere like Head Start to associate it with. So how can you repay a program or teachers for nearly saving my own life? How could I possibly let them know how much they impacted me in those 2 very short, but also very long years? Going back, but not as a child this time, but a staff member. That was my plan. That was the next right thing. When I started at Metropolitan Family Services in DuPage, I had no idea how you qualified to be a Head Start child. I had no idea Head Start wasn't anything different from a private school. I always had transportation, food, materials, and I even remember going on a field trip that my mom got to go on. It was so much fun. It didn't seem anything different to me. When I learned what it meant to be eligible in the program, I imagined my single mother, proving how very little she had, how little of education she had, and what she couldn't do for us. I close my eyes, and I can see my mother advocating for me, ensuring I had an education and a Head Start to life. My memories of my mother giving me off the bus and those picnics under the weeping willow tree, those are what propels me forward. It is thanks to our grants and funding that Head Start is still a successful program today. Nearly 30 years later, I became a site supervisor at Metropolitan Family Services DuPage. I get to see how incredible and selfless the teachers are, the family support workers that will go to the end of the earth for the family, the parent educators that will show up at your doorstep, and the wonderful DuPage management team. I get to be a part of those first 5 years of life, providing a safe and happy place, no matter where they go in life. Education should always give them the sense of safetyness and happiness. I get to see how every single dollar matters and what it'll do for a child's life. A single dollar can buy a box of crayons and colored pencils, and they can draw in which a world full of rainbows and sunshines and butterflies. And who knows, maybe they'll become an illustrator or an author. $5 can buy a book that teaches a child all about the world and the places in which they will go. Maybe they're going to join the Air Force and become a pilot. For $10, maybe they can build blocks and build a castle that will keep them safe, and then go on to become an architect. The most pure thing about children, it's not the cost, it's what you do with it that matters most. It's our job as educators and advocates to help build their toolbox. One of these children one day, they might be president, and I'd like to say we help them get there. But mostly, in every single child I see, I imagine myself, and I get to tell them they're going to be okay. They're going to make it. They truly have their Head Start to life.
Please welcome back Dan McGowan and Emily Shoup.
You've heard from many people tonight. You heard firsthand from parents, teachers, early learning providers, partner organizations, funders, and other community leaders and members about why the early learning services at Metropolitan DuPage are so important and how they impact and empower so many lives and families in so many ways. From many voices, you've heard why Metropolitan DuPage deserves your support tonight. This is an organization that does incredible work, not only in early learning services, but in many areas that make families and individuals strong and whole, such as behavioral health services for children, adults and seniors, shelter, counseling and legal services for survivors of domestic violence and labor trafficking, parenting programs for young and adoptive parents, and much more.
We need your support tonight. Please give what you can to support quality early learning and a host of other life-empowering services that Metropolitan Family Services DuPage provides every day to families throughout our county's 33 communities. We urge you to support what you've seen and heard this evening so Metropolitan DuPage can continue to do even more to make our community stronger and better. Please join me in donating. Directions are scrolling on the screen. And thanks to all who have donated tonight. We greatly appreciate your support.
On behalf of Metropolitan Family Services DuPage, thank you for your support. We hope you had an enjoyable and informative evening, and we hope to see you next time in person at the 2022 DuPage Gala. Good night.
Thank you for joining us for the Metropolitan Family Services DuPage Gala.
Every donation makes a difference.
We appreciate your support.